Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's been a very long time, and if you're new here, hi, my name's Francesca. I'm a music student at the University of Birmingham, and I'm doing this channel to hopefully promote music education. So I thought I'd update what happened throughout second year. I'm gonna do it as it would have happened and as it would have been without the current situation, and then I will explain how the current situation being COVID-19 has impacted and affected my degree course. So I'm going to go through the modules that I took during second year, some extracurricular things, and mainly the assessments that I took and how we were going to be assessed at the end of the year and stuff like that. So let's get on with the video. What happened in first term? So, compulsory modules. We have to take 2 compulsory modules throughout the year. In first term, we did music analysis. So, music analysis consisted of learning the techniques to analyse fugues, themes, classical style, romantic harmony and tonality, and then we moved on to post-tonal music, which we learnt how to analyse things such as concept of pitch collection, pitch class set, 12-note music, and popular music as well, such as rock and pop. The plan is that we were going to be assessed with 2 2-hour exams in summer term. We would be given a selection of pieces in a variety of styles that we had studied, and were to analyse them on our own over the Easter holidays, and then would answer an essay question or 2, I can't remember how many essay questions there would be on the exam. I think it was 2. Answer 2 essay questions on one of the pieces or a couple of the pieces that we had analysed in our own time. This was to make sure that we knew how to use the techniques that we'd been taught in first term. Then I had 2 optional modules. One of my modules was music cognition. In this module we studied perception of pitch, perception of rhythm, music and memory, stuff like that. It was really interesting and really fun. We were assessed with a presentation that we had to do, which was 20%. I did mine on enhanced production and perception of musical pitch in tone language speakers. So that's languages like Mandarin, and that was really interesting. And then we do an empirical study report. Our empirical study was on groove, which was something that our lecturer specialised in. That was quite interesting. It was helpful to have A-level psychology because there was quite a lot of research methods which you study in A-level psychology. So that was 30%, and then 50% was a research project which we could choose what we wanted to do it on. So this was an essay which I think was 3,000 words, and I did mine on sensory motor synchronization, a simplified approach, the study of beat perception and action. So that's such as why groups of children can't necessarily keep to a steady beat all together in a group. And it was really interesting. Had a load of studies that I analysed and came to a conclusion that beat perception, like being able to keep a rhythm, sensory motor synchronization, is not due to one single factor, essentially. Next, my other optional module in first term was Love, Death, Religion and Music in the Renaissance. This focused mostly on early Renaissance, masses, how people were influenced by the music, religion, romance, particularly the Virgin Mary. And again, also really interesting. This was assessed with weekly assignments, a 3-sentence summary, but the 3 sentences had to be like long sentences. So it ended up being about a paragraph. 2 presentations, one of them was in a pair and the other one was a solo presentation. The last 50% of the module was on the essay, and this could be whatever we wanted it to be based on. I really enjoyed researching for my presentation on Ut Febi Radis, so I took this and decided to take it further by basing my essay on the idea of solmization, which is a key factor in that particular piece. Solmization is like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, that way of singing and learning music. So my essay question that I came up with was, how does Josquin de Prez compose using solmization syllables at the beginning of the 16th century? Again, really interesting. It was a really cool essay. Yeah, so that was first term. I also took Italian lessons at Birmingham Library. This was completely separate to the university. I paid for it myself, but that was really fun. So that was like, I think that was every Wednesday. So in terms of extracurricular activities at the university, I was in Birmingham University Singers, which is the main big chamber choir, and the University of Birmingham Consort, which is a selection of 16 singers chosen to sing for the third year principal conductors, so that they are assessed on that and you are their assessment. And we do a couple of performances during the year, and that was really, really fun, really nice, close-knit chamber choir, which was really nice. So second term, we're starting off well, doing good. We have our second compulsory module, which is critical musicology. I absolutely loved this module. It looked at the basic critical methodologies, concepts and vocabularies employed in current academic work in the fields of historical musicology and ethnomusicology. I absolutely love ethnomusicology, so this was super duper fun, and I really enjoyed it. It was really interesting. We had lectures on creativity, identity, gender and queerness, refugees and migration, and then we were supposed to have a selection of lectures on things like art and reproducibility, culture, taste and class, postmodernism, but due to strikes and the COVID situation, these were cancelled. But some of them were put online. And then we had weekly summaries of readings, which were fine. And we then had 2 essays. The first essay is based on the first half of the lectures during the first half of second term. So we got given a question, but the question is very broad, so you could answer the question in a really large variety of ways. I answered the question, what roles do musicology and ethnomusicology play in shaping our understandings of human existence or human experience in contemporary society? I wrote my essay about the music of refugee children and how music influences one's identity and concept of home. Also, how this type of research is done by researchers of music education and not necessarily music ethnomusicologists. And I sort of argued this point. If you wonder why I keep looking down, I have my notebook here on the desk. So that was the first essay. Essay 2 was based on the other 5 lectures, which were the second half of second term. We were given the question, what is critical musicology? How might the suggestions made by Kerman and/or Kramer be modified in the light of at least one of the other readings you have done? I answered this by looking at Kramer, Kerman and Cavell. I took Strauss's Also sprach Zarathustra as a case study for analysing the approaches to critical musicology made by these musicologists, mainly because Also sprach Zarathustra is written by Strauss, but is associated with 2001: A Space Odyssey, and of course, when Strauss wrote it, he was not thinking about 2001: A Space Odyssey. So, yeah, it was really good. That was also another really interesting essay. I've really enjoyed my essays this year. Pretty good. Optional modules. So I only had one optional module during second term. I was supposed to do dramatic Italian vocal music, but this was cancelled, and from the options that I had left, I chose Introduction to Jazz Styles, 1920 to 1980. So this was a definite change in direction, which was unexpected, but still, nonetheless, it was really, really fun. And we looked at jazz styles such as ragtime, New Orleans jazz, swing, bop. We spent the first half of the lectures looking at how to compose right in jazz, particular jazz styles, and then we spent the second half of the lecture looking at the history of jazz and that particular genre. So the assessment, 50% was an essay. We got given 3 title choices and I chose Pick 2 or 3 jazz recordings you consider representative of different styles. Compare and contrast these recordings through a detailed analysis of each. So I compared and contrasted the Livery Stable Blues by the original Dixieland Jazz Band with Glenn Miller's In the Mood. I recommend listening to both of these pieces, they're both very good. I was then told that we had to write a jazz arrangement, an original jazz arrangement, and whew, wow, stress. I didn't think I could write jazz. But I took the challenge and I really enjoyed it. We had to produce a 3 to 4 minute arrangement of one of the following, of a selection of jazz standards. For example, Gershwin's The Man I Love, Sweet Georgia Brown by Bernie and Pinkard, Blues for Alice by Parker. I picked Someday My Prince Will Come by Churchill, and that was really fun. So that was definitely a challenge, but I really enjoyed it in the end. It was good. So that is everything in terms of my modules during the year. Whew. I also rejoined Leicester University Chamber Choir in second term, which was amazing. So I commuted back to Leicester every Tuesday, and I'm sure you've seen some of my videos with them. I went to Prague with them last year, and I did, what else have I done with Chamber Choir? That's on YouTube. The Carpool Choirokey, that was with some of my friends from Leicester Uni Chamber Choir. Yeah, really fun. Of course, running throughout the whole of the year was my performance module. This was to be assessed in a technical exam at the end of second term, where we had to learn 3 folk songs, one in German, one in French, one in Italian, and they would pick one in the exam and we had to sing it. And also there was some sight reading, if you're an instrumentalist, scales and arpeggios and stuff. And then we would be assessed with a 15-minute performance in summer term. Both of these were cancelled, so our assessment is going to be on tutor reports. Also due to coronavirus, our music analysis exams were cancelled, and that module is just not counting in my end of year mark. They've decided that our second year mark, if it is equal to or higher than our third year mark, they will consider it with our third year mark to make our degree mark. If it's lower than our third year mark, they will completely disregard the second year mark and only consider the third year mark. I think that's a really good compromise, and I'm really happy with that. They then decided that if you don't submit a piece of work that was due at the end of the Easter holidays, you would not be marked down for this. Obviously, usually if you didn't submit a piece of work, you would be massively marked down, but they scrapped this. So essentially, if you had 4 essays due, you could only submit 1, and that essay would be bigger weight, essentially, in your degree grade than all 4 of them. That had to be a risk that you were willing to take. I decided to submit everything as if the coronavirus situation was like not here. I decided to do everything as I would have done it, and that will be the mark that I would have got, and whatever that mark will be, I'm sure I'll be happy with it, I hope. So that's how second year has planned out. Wow, that's the end of my notes. So I hope that gives a quick lowdown on second year and types of assessments, types of essays that you can be looking forward to, or maybe you won't be looking forward to it, but you'd be given, maybe. And yeah, if you have any video ideas that you'd like me to do, please let me know, because as one can expect, I have quite a lot of free time now, but also I have minimal inspiration, not 100% sure what videos I could do, so please let me know if there's anything you'd like to see. I might do a how to write an essay video. I'm nowhere near a perfect essay writer, but I will happily give some ideas on how I write my essays. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please hit subscribe, the notification bell, and yeah, stay safe, stay well. Lots of love to everybody. Bye.